The one with the screamer definitely has some great moments in it, and one very iconic moment, but it's not my favourite episode of Friends, and I know why that is. Sometimes there are episodes that I just don't love as much as others, and I don't necessarily know why, it's just maybe not as funny, but I can identify with this one why I don't love it as much as some others, and I will discuss that. This is, of course, the 22nd episode of the third season of Friends, and there will be spoilers from now as I discuss various aspects of the narrative. Most of my thoughts are chronological as I made my notes when rewatching it, but I might jump around a little bit. It starts off with Phoebe on the phone trying to fix her broken phone, and Phoebe doesn't leave the apartment in this episode because she's on hold. And I thought that was interesting enough, the way that that part of the story concluded was absolutely fine. It's nice to have a reason to focus on Phoebe now and again, but certainly we didn't get as much of Phoebe in this as I perhaps would have liked. And then we get one of the main points of the narrative, and everybody else's stories all connect really well here. Sometimes that's the case with Friends. We'll have narratives where most or all of the gang are all involved in the same story. Sometimes they're very separate, but everybody ties together nicely here, apart from, as I said, Phoebe. Joey is asking about tickets to come and see his play. Ross says that he needs 2 tickets, and this is the first time where we're getting a hint of potential jealousy at Ross and Rachel dating other people after the initial breakup, of course. Some time has passed. I think we've had enough time that they can start to date other people, and I'm not including Mark, of course. And certainly having them dating worked quite well. And we have Caitlin, played by Laura Cayouette. I apologise if I've mispronounced that. And Rachel dating Tommy, who is played by Ben Stiller. And Ben Stiller gives one of the best performances and one of my favourite Friends moments, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. So even though it's not one of my favourite episodes, we do have a scene that I absolutely love. Everybody's at Joey's play. Pete's there. Monica's happy. The whole gang is there except Phoebe, of course. And we also have Estelle, who's played by June Gable. I think Estelle is such a brilliant, brilliant character, and she definitely brings some comedy to this episode. Then we have Joey and Kate alone. And this is kind of why I don't love this episode as much as I could. I don't care about the story with Kate. I don't dislike Kate. I don't dislike that narrative, but I don't find it funny. I don't find it charming. There's just nothing about it that appeals to me with Joey and Kate. And I think that's always been the case. And it's been the case with the previous episodes where we have Joey and Kate. I'm just not bothered. I don't know if other people feel like that. I don't know if that's a common sentiment or if people actually love the Joey and Kate stories. But for me, I just don't care that much. And because it takes up quite a bit of screen time in this episode, it means that I didn't adore it as much as I do perhaps other episodes. Nevertheless, the way that that part of the narrative concludes, I thought was pretty great. That final scene with Joey talking in the play, but he's actually directing his words to Kate, I thought was very well done. So even though I didn't find it that enjoyable, I can appreciate certain parts of it. And it's also nice to have Joey in a, well, not a serious relationship, but having serious emotions. And this is not something we see that often with Joey. So I can appreciate what it brings to Joey and what it brings to the show, but I can't deny that I don't find it that interesting. However, things do get more interesting, and this is actually the last thing that I have to mention about this episode. And I don't have too many thoughts on this episode compared to some, but this scene I absolutely love. And I think it would be easy to guess what scene this is. It's pretty popular. It's, of course, the scene where Ben Stiller picks up the tiny little chick and then he starts shouting at the chick and shouting at the duck, who he calls a dumb Donald Dodo. And then we have this gorgeous scene, or this gorgeous moment, where we cut to the door of Chandler and Joey's apartment, and the whole gang, minus Joey, who's obviously down doing his play, are standing in the doorway. Phoebe's still got the phone clutched to her ear, and everybody just looks at Eddie with a kind of, what on earth are you doing expression, and it was just fantastic. So that is very funny and absolutely one of my favourite Friends moments. Really thoroughly enjoyed that. And Ben Stiller gave a great performance. So in general, the one with the screamer might not be one of my favourite episodes, but it does have some really good moments, and I don't mind watching it. I definitely don't mind watching it, but it's probably not one that I choose to watch. But I would choose to watch that clip with Ben Stiller. So I don't give star ratings, and I'm glad I don't because I don't know what I'd do with this one. I'd love to know if you enjoy it. It could be some people's favourites. I know some people might really enjoy the story with Joey and Kate. I can see the benefit of it and what it brings, but it's just not for me. But other than that, the one with the screamer, it's not bad.